I don't think we had to use the conference room at all. And I think it was maybe like a 2-day process as compared to at least a week before. I know the team is really happy with this option, and we just wanted to find the right solution that would meet everyone's needs.
Hello and welcome to Scholarship Station, your platform to explore the scholarship field. I'm your host, Erica Orsolak from Students First Consulting. Joining me today are two scholarship professionals who each have recent experience implementing 529 plans as disbursement mechanisms for their respective organizations. Ashley Gomez is the Scholarship Program Manager at St. David's Foundation in Austin, Texas, and Natalia Muniz-Martin is a Program Manager at the Arlington Community Foundation in Virginia. But first, Scholarship Station is a free service connecting members of the scholarship world to resources and ideas about how we can all best serve students. If you have a topic or a particular issue you'd like to hear discussed, please let us know in the comments below. On screen, you'll see my contact info as well as all of our handles in all of the places. I want to let folks at home know that St. David's Foundation and Arlington Community Foundation have both been clients of Students First Consulting, and our team has been through ups and downs of 529 implementation alongside Ashley and Natalia. So I know we're going to have a really informative conversation about a subject that's on the minds of a lot of people in our field. This is going to be good. So to start, and I'd like to hear from both of you on this, talk about why your organization started exploring 529 plans for your scholarship awards. And Ashley, why don't we let you kick it off?
I think, like many other scholarship providers, we've really struggled with scholarship displacement that our students experienced. I started managing the scholarship program in 2019, and I think that was the first time that I started hearing about scholarship displacement and understanding what it really looked like for our students. We tried emailing them all to see if they were experiencing something that was similar to this, and little by little, we started receiving the emails from the students, like, I think this is happening to me, what can I do about it? At the time, I'd say it was about 10% of our students that were experiencing scholarship displacement. But working with Students First, we learned that it's likely a lot more than 10% of our students. And so what we ended up doing was creating workarounds to help them access all of the scholarship dollars that we wanted to provide them with. But what we learned was workarounds were not the right solution administratively. It wasn't the right solution for our students. So what we thought we were doing right by them, it was actually creating more issues, more barriers for our students.
And Natalia, how about you?
I started managing the scholarship program in 2021, and we had to get a lot of things under control. Our application needed some rejuvenating and things like that. And so while scholarship displacement, we always knew it was going on, we didn't feel like we could focus on it as much until we had gotten those things under control. And once we did, we started to also look for ways that we could prevent scholarship displacement from happening, especially to our low-income students. We started, we always paid the scholarship, in July later on, so that in hopes that the student would already have their financial aid package. But of course, that always wasn't foolproof. And then we started asking students on their follow-up forms, we would say, this is what scholarship displacement is. If it's happening to you, please reach out to us so that we can help you, take advantage of your full scholarship amount. And this did work. Some students would reach out to us and say, I'm experiencing displacement. What can we do? And we didn't have a foolproof solution for all of our students. It was always going to be a one-off solution. So maybe we could reach out to their high school, and we could send the money there, and then they could send it directly to the student. But we just felt like we really wanted a solution that could work for all of our students. It would make it easier for us to manage, and it would be a foolproof way that our students would be able to access their full scholarship amount without it impacting their aid.
And just so the audience understands what we're talking about, 529 savings accounts. They're vehicles that are often used by families to save and pay for higher education expenses, but they are also great for scholarship providers because using 529s to make scholarship awards to do that disbursement can help do things like reduce or eliminate negative scholarship displacement. It can really streamline those administrative processes, so you're just doing one thing for all of your scholarship recipients, and it can fulfill your donor intent in such a different way in that they're directly supporting students as opposed to what's happening with scholarship displacement. They're effectively making grants to colleges and universities. So for both of you, can you walk us through how the process has changed? Maybe a little bit about what that new workflow looks like, especially that awarding part of the process. And Natalia, why don't we lead off with you?
Yeah, so one of the great things about paying students through the 529 plan is that nothing had to change in our application or evaluation structure. So, our application opens in December all the way through April when we're awarding the scholarships, nothing has really changed. Then once we award the scholarships, we provide students with information about what a 529 plan is, how the process will work, what they can use the funds for, and all of this is on the form that we already would send to the student to fill out when they receive their application. So students will sign up for a 529 plan. We are really encouraging them to move this way, and we're explaining that we're trying to get all of our students to be paid through 529 plans. So once they select that option, then we go through our 529 plan provider, which right now we're using the Texas College Savings Plan. And we have a foundation owned account with them that we then send up the beneficiary accounts, which is the students' accounts, through our master account. It's really simple for the students. They'll receive an email from Texas College Savings Plan to log into their account. They can then add their bank account to their 529 plan through us, and we can transfer the funds directly to their bank account.
And Ashley, how about you?
We are also using the Texas College Savings Plan 529 provider, and I think that the biggest change from our old payment process to our new payment process is that, like Natalia mentioned, we were having to process checks for at least 50 plus universities for our students. And we also would start the first week of July because we were trying to account for any possible issue that could happen between, cross-referencing our spreadsheets and then mailing out the checks. Some of the issues that we encountered with our old process was we'd start the payment process early, the checks would go out the door, the fall semester would start, the school hasn't received the check yet, or we would have to reissue the check multiple times. We'd have to include a required signature to ensure that the check was delivered to the right office. Our financial team would tell us that the checks were cashed, but the funds weren't applied to the student's account. And so these were all issues that we were encountering every time we would have to process a bulk payment for a semester. And now that we've transitioned to 529s, we have about 41% of our students that are now signed up to receive their funding through 529s. This is the fastest that we've ever been able to get scholarship funds to our students. The majority have signed up for ACH payment. So as soon as our finance team wires the funds to our master account, they're seeing their scholarship money in their bank account within 1 to 3 business days. They don't have to worry about if their funds are going to arrive in time for their tuition deadlines or how are they going to pay for their rent this semester. So it's made things so much simpler.
And Ashley, I'm remembering a few years ago when you started thinking about this, describing you and your team being holed up in the conference room for 2 to 3 weeks at a time, twice a year, trying to resolve these issues. So I'm guessing there's no more to very little of that. Is that right?
I don't think we had to use the conference room at all. And I think it was maybe like a 2-day process as compared to at least a week before. I know the team is really happy with this option, and we just wanted to find the right solution that would meet everyone's needs.
Thank you for joining us at Scholarship Station. If you find this episode useful, inspiring, helpful, or motivational, please subscribe, like, and maybe even leave us a review. We love having you with us. Now that you've been doing this, at least for one term, are there things that have come up that you didn't expect?
Yeah, I would say the main thing is we had to explain to the students how they could access and use the money, and how they should use it to pay their tuition, for example, more than I expected. So they didn't fully comprehend that this would be money directly transferred to their account or a check that they could put into their bank account, just like they would receive any other check or, bank transfer. So that was a little bit of something I wasn't expecting. And it makes sense because, they're going to school for the first time. A lot of these students are the first person in their families to go to college. So maybe their parents don't fully understand the process either.
I know for us, something that I didn't expect, it was optional for students to opt into receiving their funding through 529. And I think that we identified students that might be experiencing displacement or were attending universities that were known to displace some of our older scholars. And so it was optional for them to opt in for the fall semester. What surprised me is that we did have a few students that told us no, they were not interested. I think that with trying anything new, there is this fear of the unknown. I think that they were also used to having the funds sent directly to their university. So there was this concern with, that's a lot of money to deposit directly into my bank account. I don't want to touch it. I just want it to go where it needs to go. And that's that. So I think that we're able to tell them, if you don't want to have the money deposited directly into your bank account, that's okay. There is an option where we can send your 529 payment directly to your school. And I think that once students learn that that also is an option, then I think it kind of puts their concerns to rest.
So what have you found to be the key benefits for the students that you're serving?
So we, when we started the 529 pilot program, we had 16 students that decided to participate. We did ask them if they would participate in some surveys and potentially be interviewed by our learning and evaluation department. We did have 12 of the 16 students participate in the surveys and interviews, and 100% of the students that were surveyed did share that they were completely satisfied with receiving their funding through 529s. And then one student in particular that I wanted to highlight, so with our scholarship program, it's not just an undergraduate scholarship that we're offering. It's a healthcare scholarship. So we have some of our students in our program for 8 years, 10 years, depending on what profession they're pursuing that requires more education. One of the students that was in the pilot program is a medical student who's currently in a neurology rotation. So she keeps really weird hours. She's working all the time. And she shared that because she received her funding through the 529, she wasn't having to stress about how was she going to afford rent for her spring semester or how she was going to afford food. So I think that, being able to provide them their funding through 529 just makes it that much simpler for them to focus on what is important. And in this case, it's their education.
We also started implementing the 529 plan payment for this upcoming fall semester. So students were notified of their awards in April 2025, and they were offered the option of signing up for the 529 plan. We only offered it to our new cohort of students this year, just as a test run. And the majority of our students did sign up. So I think we had about 70 of our new students sign up to receive their funds through the 529 plan. And then we also offered it to our renewal students that we knew were experiencing displacement. So we had about 80 students total. For our new students, I noticed this year that our high school students in general were more aware of aid displacement, which I thought was interesting. And it's great that students are starting to know that scholarship displacement is a thing before they, get their aid packages and before they start paying for school. I think it's really important for them to be aware of this so they can make the right decisions for themselves. So I noticed that, and when we informed the students that you won't really have to worry about that because we can send the money directly to you if you sign up for this 529 plan option, they were overjoyed. They were really excited about the fact that they'll be able to use the money flexibly for what they really need it for, and that they won't have to worry about aid displacement at all. For our renewal students who have already experienced aid displacement, they were even happier because in the past we were, doing all these different things to try to get the money to the student without it impacting them. We usually had to jump through some hoops, contact multiple different organizations or people just to get the money to the student. So this year we were able to tell them, hey, we know you've experienced a disbursement in the past. This year, if you just sign up for the 529 plan option, you'll get the money directly to your bank account.
So what's next with 529s for your programs? What's the future for both of yours? And Ashley, why don't we start with you?
Expansion. I think that we're excited to offer this opportunity to all of our scholars. We've always been focused on health equity at St. David's Foundation, and I think that financial equity is really important also, especially with our students. And so we want to make sure that we're offering an equitable disbursement method for all of our students. And so that would mean transitioning all of our students to 529. So the goal is to eventually, beginning fall 2026, disperse all of our funds through 529s for our students. We emailed all the other students that we currently have active that are not enrolled in 529 this week to invite them to sign up in time for their spring semester. We've shared a video that kind of talks through the 529 process and how it's beneficial to them on our Scholar Instagram page. And we have had 12 more students sign up in this week alone. So we're just excited to see this opportunity offered to all of our students in the future.
Yeah, and we're doing the same. As I mentioned, we offered it to all of our new students this year, about 80 students, and moving forward, starting in December, we'll be offering it to all of our students that are in our pipeline already, explaining to them what it means for their scholarship moving forward and trying to get them signed up this winter before we start paying scholarships in the spring.
Ashley, Natalia, thank you so much for talking to us today. It's been a pleasure to work with you on this 529 journey, and thanks so much for being here, sharing your time and experiences with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
And I want to thank everyone else who's joined us today. It's always a joy to have you on board. Remember to like and subscribe to Scholarship Station. It's your platform to explore the world of scholarships. We'll see you again soon.